Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Online Graduate Practicum Forum for Spring 2021. My name is Abbigail Cantu, your presenter. I am a graduate student in the Master's of Science in Interdisciplinary Studies program in the Department of Occupational, Workforce, and Leadership Studies at Texas State University. The title of my practicum is Creating Training Workshops for a New Leadership and Development Program Initiative, Boon-Chapman University. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am excited to walk you through my practicum experience, so let's get started. I would like to give you a little background about this practicum. The purpose was to acquire practical experience working in the training and development field. I was able to further gain exposure into what this field is all about, learn the ins and outs, what I like and what I didn't like, and I was able to really dive into how to implement a training program from beginning to end. The organization and location was at my current employer, Boon-Chapman, and our sister company, Saluda. Our main office is in the North Austin location. Most employees are still remote. However, the Boon-Chapman pilot group for the Leadership Development Program, Boon-Chapman University, did occur face-to-face every Tuesday for the month of March. So there are two reasons why I chose this practicum at my organization. There was a need for leadership development and a need for training programs in general. They did both help boost employee morale, and they will help with talent development and more efficient onboarding, and training programs can, in general, lead to more successful employees and a more successful organization as a whole. I was able to work with my site supervisor in the process of implementing, coordinating, and starting the pilot group from beginning to end, as well as helping with employee engagement and participation with the volunteer work with the Settlement Home, which is the organization we partner with. I would like to cover the practicum objectives before I transition over to the practicum highlights, literature highlights, and the SWOT reflections from my practicum experience. The first objective is the cross-cultural global awareness objective. In this objective, it was to improve my current employer's volunteer participation with the nonprofit organization we have partnered with, the Settlement Home. Later on in the practicum highlights, I will show how I was able to help in this process. For the intellectual development objective, I was able to adopt training and development tools and skills necessary to create content and material for the training modules and workshops for the Leadership and Development Program, Boon-Chapman University. Lastly, the career exploration objective, I was able to develop training and development strategies to further enhance my knowledge in successful talent program implementations. Boon-Chapman University was a program that was implemented for the very first time in our organization. We had to create the modules and start with a pilot program as well. So in this whole process, we had to create a whole new program from beginning to end, and was a brand new implementation for the organization, and I was able to be a part of that implementation. In this last objective, I was able to build on from the intellectual development objective, where I did research content for training materials, training methods, learning objectives, how to create training agendas, and actual content itself for the Leadership and Development Program, which later on I will also be able to show what type of content was researched. In the career exploration objective, I was able to put all of that into practice, and I was able to help facilitate some of the modules, as well as help implement the program for the month of March. Okay, so now for the exciting part. One of the first practicum highlights for me was being able to create a web page on our new company intranet called Mango. And this web page had all information about the Settlement Home and all remote and virtual ideas on how employees could volunteer with the Settlement Home. So this company intranet was just rolled out this year, and I was able to go through the training and train others on how to add information onto the web page. I was able to help employees engage and learn more about the settlement home throughout this process. Here is the first screenshot of the company intranet and some of the development work I did on Mango. As you can see, I put opportunities, at-home activities that they could do, or online activities as well. And if we go to the next slide, this is another screenshot where you can see the information on the settlement home. I did add an About Us, mission, values, and a link to their actual web page in case employees wanted to research on the settlement home a little bit further. The second practicum highlight for me corresponds to the second objective, which is the intellectual development objective. Here I was able to research content for different modules. I was able to research on training methods, training objectives, how to create a training agenda. I was able to research different content and different items to develop a training module from beginning to end. And if you can see here on the left-hand side, that's a picture I took of our facilitator manuals. This one was for me, and each facilitator had their own binder, all broken out by modules. And of course, the program name is Boon-Chapman University, so you can see the title Boon-Chapman University. On the right-hand side, you can see the Boon-Chapman University program, all the different categories, the modules, and the weeks. This is what an 8-week program would look like. We just did a pilot group in March. Tomorrow, March 30th, is the last one. And we had to shorten out the pilot program. But as you can see, I was asked to create research content for week 5, which is the managing individuals category. So I was able to create content for 4 different modules. The last practicum highlight for me was actually being able to start the pilot program for Boon-Chapman University. It was very exciting for everybody in the organization. The 6 employees who went through the program, we have one more session left, but it has been such a great experience, and we have been asking for feedback each week from the pilot group. The pilot group was chosen specifically to give feedback on the content, the workshops, the trainers, the facilitators, and I put an email from one of the trainees and saying that this was one of the best, if not the best classes training sessions they have ever attended, and they were excited to continue through the training program. So this was a major highlight for us as we went through this program. I thought I would include a fun picture. This is the president of our company, Niall Leftwich. He came in and did a motivational speech at our first cohort session and was giving the team a pep talk. And the pictures were approved by Niall. Here are the trainees doing a training activity. It's called the Marshmallow Challenge. It was following the problem-solving module. So they had some fun doing this activity, and we unpacked the activity after they finished and had a discussion follow-up. One major literature that I would utilize throughout this practicum was BB 2013, Training and Development, Communicating for Success. I was able to gather information on developing objectives, training content, training methods, and much more information. Another major article I was able to utilize throughout my practicum was Leadership Training Design, Delivery, and Implementation, a meta-analysis. It had various leadership development, training designs, deliveries, and implementation elements that have been researched and have been shown to be effective in training classes. This was a major piece of work that I was able to utilize in the program as well. Lastly, I utilized Experiential Learning, Experience as a Source of Learning and Development by David A. Kolb. I was able to further understand the experiential learning cycle and really understand the learner side of things and utilize the Kolb learning style inventory. Throughout this practicum, there were many strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. One major strength throughout this practicum was able to get through the content and material for the modules and actually start the pilot group and facilitation of the leadership development modules I created for the program. A weakness was the training time allocation on modules. I did not allocate enough time to each of the modules for the pilot program, but I am hoping to incorporate that once we roll this over to the first actual session later on this next month. An opportunity was able to actually facilitate the modules I created in the pilot group. At first, I was only going to help create the modules and the content, but I was given the opportunity to facilitate the modules that I helped create. A threat in this practicum was specifically for the settlement home and helping employees engage in volunteer opportunities. Our organization allotted the PTO hours or the pay time off hours for volunteer work, and they used it to cover for the winter storm days. Therefore, any time that employees were given, any PTO time that employees were given for volunteer work was now going to cover for winter storm days where employees could not work, therefore making it a little bit more difficult for employees to have more time to volunteer. Overall, this was a great practicum experience. I was able to dive into the training and development world and really gain exposure into what that field is all about. Some future career plans I have is to go into the training and development field and hopefully get into a leadership development concentration within that field, and later on be in a strategic director position. I would like to be director of the training and development program at an organization and really help them build up those programs from beginning to end and help implement new and better strategies to create a better workforce. Thank you everyone so much for watching this presentation. I very much appreciate your time and I look forward to watching your presentations as well. On the YouTube page below, please indicate your anonymous preference for this practicum by clicking on one of these two icons, a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Also, please post your comments or questions in the YouTube comment section below. I will respond to your comments posted between April 6th and 17th through this webpage. Thank you so much for your time and have a great day.